everyone, this is Cinema.
And this is Johannes.
And you are watching Board Gaming Ramblings.
And today we are taking a look at Bomb Busters. This is not a new game. So you might ask yourself, why are we reviewing it? Spoiler alert, because it's good.
Yes.
That is the spoiler. This came out at Gen Con last year. We saw it at Gen Con. We saw many people buying it at Gen Con. And I almost picked it up.
Yeah.
Because I usually I'm the one who decides on games because you just play what is in front of you.
I don't know what the games are.
You do, but you don't know what the new games are and what we need to get.
That's
and
right.
I saw this and it looked very bland and boring because the components and stuff, it's not like a game where you get drawn into the components and how it looks on the table.
And also it's a co-op game.
Yes, and I have a huge aversion towards co-op games. I don't like many of them. And you like a few, but you like less and less of them, I feel like.
It really depends on the game.
That is true. Spoiler alert. We like this one. And I'm going to tell you briefly how we play it. If you're afraid of spoilers, there's not going to be any spoilers here, because this game has 66 different missions, which is evolving the rules. So what you see here, you're going to see through the first training missions of the game. The game starts off very simple with a training mission. What the game is a deduction cooperative game. You are bomb experts or trying to be bomb experts of defusing bombs. You're the bomb busters, that is true. Every player is going to have one of these in front of them. That's your cue. Boom! On that, there's going to be these tiles. These tiles are going to look kind of like this. Some are going to have numbers on them, or all are going to have numbers on them. Some might be yellow and some might be red. And all of this is secret to the other players. Those are placed from low to high in the order, low to high. That's not different orders.
Ascending
just one order. Ascending order, that was the thing I was looking for. And then basically the game is all about this. On my turn, most of the time, I'm going to point to one of your tiles. And I'm going to look at it now and say, I can't guess that one. Is this, let's say I go this way. Let's just do this. Boom, I have a 1 now. And I might say, is this a 1? And you will say,
yes, it is in this case. And I will show it.
And I will also make up that this is also one of these, but it's hard to see the tiles because there's a camera and it's not like magical, I can show it all around. So I would also show mine. So that is what you're trying to do. You're trying to cut these wires, not get the red wires, because then kaboom, and also not get the wrong wires, because then this will tick down, and if you get
eventually kaboom.
Enough of mistakes, kaboom. And that is basically the basic thing of the game. There's a couple more things you can do, like for example, if you have there's 4 of each numbers. If you have 2 tens already have been cut, I can cut these 2 on my turn and place them down. And there's some few nuances of what you can do. Like if you only have a red wire, you can cut that, but that's the only time you can do that, depending on the scenario you're playing. There is equipment that you can use, but to be able to use them, you have to cut a pair of that number. So let's say we cut a pair of 4s. This will be available, and then one player can use that to help you play the game. Also, every person is going to have a personal equipment, a double detector, which I can point to 2 of your tiles and say, is one of those a 10? And then if one of them are, you will show it basically the same way. And that is basically the game. And it doesn't sound that fun, but is it fun?
It is so fun. I really like it. It's like a near perfect co-op deduction game.
Yes.
I couldn't figure out really how they can make it any better.
No.
It's just it just works.
It does.
You know? And because of this hidden information, you're not allowed to talk about it because you would give away too much.
Which makes every co-op game better.
Yes, because you are not having any discussion. You might not like that, but and you might have some AP also.
You might have some AP. That's mostly the time.
But a lot of the game is trying to look for patterns, like possibilities, trying to deduce, okay, could that be the 4 that I need to cut, or could that be the bomb that I need to avoid? And you're constantly looking for these clues, and as you have more information, for example, let's say that all of the 2 and 7s were cut, you would factor that into your calculations, and that will help you. And also you're beginning usually by hinting, and everybody when you do a mistake, for example, I guess that this was a 12 as well and it wasn't,
down.
we will get a mistake, but you can also show me what it actually
Shows
is.
the one number. Oh, there it is.
Yeah, I have it.
I will place it down. Boom. And you will know it's an 11 now.
Mm-hmm.
There is some luck and randomness in the game, and I feel like all good co-op games should have some luck and randomness.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not one of those games where you will be turning over a card and be like, oh, we died.
Yeah.
This is almost always, I feel like, some kind of human mistake.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're in a position where you have to guess.
Yeah.
And then you always have to just try to find like the highest possibility,
no.
highest probability
Thank you.
of it being that number that you want it to be. But many times, and this is one of the things I love about the game, is that many times I do a mistake and afterwards we talk about it. Then we will say, oh, but I should have known that because of this and this thing. And you learn and you get better. I have to say, the first time I played this game, I thought it was super boring.
Yeah.
Like, very much so. I just was like, yeah, we can play it because I heard about it. It's nominated to the Spiel des Jahres. And I was like, let's try it. And I thought it was very boring. We played it at the convention.
Yeah, I could see the light draining from your eyes when you heard the rules. And it's just like, is that even a game?
Because it felt random.
Yeah.
To me, the first time I played it. And then I was very much tired while we played it as well. So I looked even more bored than I was. I was almost falling asleep. And then I was like, well, let's play it again. And I was the one saying that because I was like, I want to play this again. And the more we played it, the more I liked it. There is, as it said, like, there is this like training thing. The first group we played with, we just skipped that. We skipped to the last one because it's not that complicated. Like but I like that it is that way.
Yeah.
Because it's made for families and for everyone to be able to enjoy it. And we did play this with two different groups. We played it at the con. We played it like 10 times, something like that. And then we got to play it like 25, 30 times with my parents. And with them, we didn't even do all the training missions, but we did like from the beginning.
Yeah.
And I enjoy that they are there. But like there's 66 missions in the game, and the first 8 is basically 1.
Learning the game.
Yes, and I don't care because 66 is a lot.
It is, and I really appreciate their training missions. We're talking about them now, but you have 12 different numbers in the game, like 4 copies of each, and in addition to that, you might have these yellow wires that have a different number, and also these red ones.
Yeah.
And depending on which scenario you play, you might have different amounts of that. In the beginning, in the like training ones, you start with fewer numbers.
Yeah, that's true.
Which was really helpful because it's a steep learning curve.
Yes.
Because you really have to get into the way you have to deduce in this game. And the more numbers you have, the more guessing it will be, especially when you're new. So I really like that you can step it up. I really appreciate that. And also when we played with the same group, I really appreciate, like, that's the fun of it because you get better, as you said. You talked about it afterwards and you learn from your mistakes and you master it.
I would like to say that I agree with you 100% that I enjoy that the tutorial is there. It's basically a tutorial.
Yeah.
So some would say, like, it says 66 missions. Some would say it's not really 66. But I don't know a lot of people who's going to play all the way through all those 66 and be like, that wasn't enough. There should have been 10 more.
Yeah.
But I also enjoy that at the bottom of every tutorial it says, if you're ready, you can skip ahead to number 8 and see where you're at. But I agree with you, because if you never played any game like this, like my parents never played anything like this.
No.
Never even almost played a co-op game because they play mostly with us and I don't like co-op games. And so just to learn those basics, but very soon they got it. And I was like, it was better to skip ahead to number 8. And we needed a couple of tries on that.
Yeah.
But then we got better and better. And I have to say, like, that's one of the, I wouldn't call it negatives of the game, but it's still like a negative. Like this, if we are to play it again now, I would want to play it with my parents.
Yeah, because then we can continue the scenarios, and they're not like, you don't need to play them all. And you don't
Gonna play them all,
need
bombasters.
to play them in order, or like that's not the
I think you should.
importance. Yeah,
The rule says,
yeah.
we recommend playing them in
Yes,
order.
but if we play it with a new group now, we have to start all over.
Yes, it would be boring.
Or it would be super hard for new
Yes.
people getting into where are we at? 22?
22, yeah.
Yes.
Which would make no sense to them
No.
because, spoiler alert, the game is very high on variability.
Or we can play it with 2 players.
Yes.
But
Which,
this game, I feel like this really needs 4. Well, we played it with 4 and 5.
Yeah.
Both worked great.
if you're playing with less than 4, at least one player is going to have 2 of these trays.
Yeah.
Which just tells me it's not made for less than 4 players. Maybe like if you're a couple and you really love the deduction of it, I didn't really even want to try it with 2 because like the experience is all about that not knowing, and me knowing half of the things makes it way less interesting. I have to say, I really like how different the scenarios are.
Yeah.
In the beginning, I would say up until like 15, there's a few that are very not that interesting.
Yeah.
Like we skipped them both times we played.
Yeah.
Because when the first time I was like, oh, I want to play them all, but then we didn't have time to play it all, so we skipped some. And then we got to them when we played with my parents, and I was like, oh yeah, but we're going to do them all now. Then we got to ones like, why is this? This is like a very small change and not really an interesting change at all from the last scenario. But after that, I would say every single scenario that we played has felt very different. And I really like how much they have managed to do with this very simple system.
Yes.
And changing it up. And it might be that the rest, because we only played like 21s, we played like a third-ish of the scenarios. It might be that the rest aren't as variable, but I would guess that they are, which makes me want to go back and play it more.
Yeah, and I enjoy that sometimes it's just like a small variation, like a little twist, and some of the scenarios has really changed how we think about what we get, and also how we hint,
Yes.
which is really something to figure out in this game. And
Yeah.
it's so easy to overlook something. It's been countless times. Usually, the way we lose in this
Yes.
game is that we just like miss a tiny little thing, and it sets off the doom counter.
tracker.
Yes, I don't know what's called.
I'd also say that one of the things about this game is one of the reasons that you need the same group is that you're making a meta. You will
Yeah.
be doing that. And sometimes, and that's another thing that the game does very well, is that sometimes just turns that on its head and it makes it so that you can't use your meta
Yeah.
anymore for one reason or another. But I feel like that is kind of, we played a lot of the video game, Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes.
Yes.
And they're very different games. But
Recommend
they have,
it, by
yes,
the
very
way.
much so. But they have the thing where you are communicating. In Keep Talking, it's basically I'm communicating in my words, as much information in as little few words as possible. In this game, I'm trying to say as much as I can with a few ways I can communicate, which
Yeah.
is with not my words, with the hint tokens, with the equipment, just like doing that. And it's very, very interesting and very unique. Who do you think is going to like this game?
Everybody, no, not everybody. But if
I don't
you
think
like,
solo gamers are going to like it a lot.
if you like deduction, and you don't even need to like co-op games.
No.
But if you like co-op games, maybe like it's so hard to know if you're gonna like this. But for me, this really clicked. So you really have to listen to our words and see if this is something for you.
Yes, that's a great segue over to the final thoughts.
Our words.
Do you want to do the words?
Yes.
Do it.
I have many words for this game.
You
And
only have 4 words this time.
oh,
No, you don't. You can
Okay.
do as many as you want.
cool. And all of them are positive. I can't really fault this game at anything yet. We have many scenarios that we haven't played, but I find it very fun and very interesting and also frustrating. It's a lot of frustration when you so clearly see something
Yes.
that others don't, and also vice versa. But the thing about this game is that the scenarios in itself don't take a lot of time, so you can just like play it again, and especially if somebody makes a very early mistake.
Yes.
The play session will be very short, and you can play multiple times. When we played this in the evenings with your parents, we never played just one time.
No.
We always played multiple times. And it didn't really matter to me if we didn't get it on the first try because it's just like fun to go again. It's a little addictive.
Oh yeah.
And also I like the equipment. I like the rule changes up from scenario to scenario, and it just like find the core puzzle really clever. And I can't really fault it at anything. I'm gonna give it a high rating. Am I going to give it a 10? I don't know. Nine. I'm gonna give it a 9.
What are you faulting it for? Nothing.
I don't know.
And you're just making up a number. Why not give it a 2?
No, because because it's obviously super good.
Yes.
Just like 1,000 thumbs up. Go check it out.
I'm gonna say that, like, going a little bit back to who is it for. We already said it a couple of times, but I would not recommend this if you don't have a core group.
Yeah.
I would not recommend this if you don't have the same people you can play it with over and over and over. It's not a fun game to play once. It's not a fun game to play 5 times. You need to play it a lot to get like what this game is trying to give you, and you need to play that with the same people, or else it will be frustrating. It will be angry. All of these things that can happen if you play a game like this with people you don't know, or people that you don't play with often, or you're trying to jump somebody into it. If you have a group like that, I think this game is fantastic. I went from not liking this game to thinking this might be my favorite co-op game of all time. I don't like co-op games, so, and also Gloomhaven, Frosthaven, all of those games are probably...
But non-campaign?
Yes.
Yeah.
Might be my favorite co-op game of all time, non-campaign wise. This is an easy 10 for me.
Cool.
It is, as I said, like, there's nothing I can fault it on. You're just holding back that 10 for a mystical, magical board game. But this is just fantastic. I'm very interested to see if this will win the Spiel des Jahres.
Yeah.
It's this or one of our favorite games from last year. This would have been in top 20 last year, basically.
Yes.
Probably in the top 10. I don't remember my top 10, but it would be at least in the top 20. It's this, and it's Flip 7. And then there's some Crockle or Rockle, which I've never heard about.
Game. No,
I probably a German game. So for me, this is my pick for Spiel des Jahres.
Oh yeah.
Of the 3 games, one game is a very, very much fun party game. One game I've never played, and then this. So all in all, highly recommend it. Thank you for watching. If you're still here, subscribe because it makes our channel grow, and that makes us happy. Like this. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Johannes.
I'm Cinema.
And you've been watching Board Gaming Ramblings, and bye-bye.